Hi, how are you all today? I'm saying you all. We get a few watchers. I love you guys. I love you guys. You guys end up, you get to watch when you watch. And so I'm saying you all thinking of the play out of this, all the replays and all that. So if you're watching on replay, welcome. And if you're watching live, welcome, welcome. We are live now on Facebook, on our website, Seaporium.com, and we are live on YouTube. Yay. So as you notice, there's different ways of following us. We are at Seaporium after YouTube.com. You'd use the @ Seaporium. And then it's just /Seaporium after all the other social medias, okay? So we're super easy to find, and I have various videos. A lot of them repeat, some of them don't. So sometimes Instagram gets something unique that Facebook doesn't. But most of my lives are on Facebook, and now when they're live there, they're live on YouTube. We're also live on the Iron Orchid Designs page because we are an authorized retailer for Iron Orchid Designs products and Dixie Belle products. But I do the live on Iron Orchid Designs Facebook page on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of every month. And we've been doing this kind of fun project for IOD TV for a week now. And well, it hasn't been a steady week. I wasn't here on the weekend, and you know, I have custom work, and we have bookkeeping and all that. And so, and then it takes half a day just for me to warm up. It's that time of year. So I sit there and I sit in front of the heater and try to stay warm. I have my many layers on, so yes. This has been a fun process. I am in love with what I'm doing here. I don't know if you can make this out. We're going to zoom in a little bit. Let's get rid of that. All right, let's go to this. Oh, wait, let's zoom in. All right, I got to do it on that. Okay, so if I can move back a little bit, this will work out. Okay, so look what I did here. Can you make out like, oops, I'm making messes. Oh, I was wondering what I did with my door. I thought I threw it out. So can you make out like with all the rust and patina that's happening right there? Like we also have given the molds that really special detail that kind of makes it festive, right? We love the rustic, but it is a holiday project. So I'm going to kind of continue this, but we're going to do it to the other side. So let's see if I can. I need to move my camera because otherwise you'll be too far out. So let me zoom back out. Let's see what happens. All right, maybe, just maybe. Okay. That way I don't have to worry about trying to climb up and reach my camera up there. All right, so down here was where we're going to work. I have given things a color assignment. A color assignment. So the roses in the poinsettias are a red. But of course, we're doing gilding. So I've come up with a solution. We no longer have the Dixie Belle gemstone mousse, which was a water-based gilding wax, basically. And it came in garnet, which was really pretty. And then I thought, well, we could put adhesive and use the foil on here because they have the red foil now, the Dixie Shine. But that just seemed like so stark versus what else I have going on. So I came up with a solution. I mixed a little bit of this red. This is basically the same kind of red that you would get at the craft stores, at the art stores. But this is, it's a faux cream color. It's just faux cream red. I don't know which red it would technically be. It's a pretty bright red. I could have used a little bit of Dixie Belle. I don't think I have any honky tonk red open because that would be my nice bright red. But this was handy, so I just used this, and I'm using so little, and I'm mixing that with copper to get this really cool, more reddish version of a copper. But it still has the shine that the rest of it has. And then I'm using the Gilding wax in Cactus, which is a chameleon wax, technically they're calling it. So if you don't see it under Gilding, it's called chameleon wax. It's an iridescent gilding oil-based wax, and the Gilding wax in gold. And oh, and just because we do have a couple peacock feathers left, just a little hint of blue, and that I'm using Moonshine Metallics. So I'm mixing oil and I'm using the water base. What am I doing? We know oil and water don't mix, so why am I doing it all together? Well, first of all, I'm lazy, if we're going to be honest. And second of all, let me make sure we have sound. Okay, let me see. Oh, I don't have my comments open. Let's see if anyone's around. Let's see. Let's see. I'm not seeing anybody, but maybe that's because I just went to comments. I'm not sure. Hey, Gracie, thank you. Thank you. So there's a process when we're doing this. We don't want the two to kind of go over each other. We want to keep our water base and our oil base separate, or we want to give our water base plenty of time to dry before we put our oil base on. If we think that the water base, like our copper that we'll be using and the Moonshine Metallics, if we think that they need to be sealed more, then you should seal them before you put the Gilding wax. The oil-based wax is always your last step. Always, 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 always. All right, so let's go ahead and put our water base on first, just for the shits and giggles, and say we're doing this in an order, okay? Let's get the blue out of the way. It's the first thing I grabbed, and I am not using anything fancy, okay? I'm using my fingers. So if you have a Q-tip handy, you might want to get that out. And I'm just using something to tap on, and I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to go over the tops of my peacock feathers. All right. It's going to be something, this is going to be, I wasn't sure, like I know I wanted to really do this patina look because the Fairy Mary transfer just seems to have that really rustic, old world, you know, like that just seems to go so well with this. And I'm thinking I'm going to do copper on the windows since we're tying in copper, you'll see, more than just that mix of paint. And let's go ahead and do our mix. So I'm using, this happens to be the Modern Masters metallic paint in copper, semi-opaque, because it was the brightest, readiest copper that I could find. I know that's not a word, readiest. What are you up to today, Missy? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little puddle of my copper. Okay. We don't need to spend forever on this. We're going to do one little section, and then we're going to talk about cleaning the windows and doing all that, right? So let's take our copper and just start a base coat of our flower. All right, there's no poinsettia down here. We have a rose, we have some berries, which are going to be this red. And we have more rose. Oh, there is one poinsettia in the middle. So I'm taking the copper and I'm giving the flowers that I want to be the red, kind of a base of the copper. It's going to be an underlying, it's there. And it does help to have that difference. It tones down the red, which, I mean, yeah, I tried so hard to get a nice red, but there's a limit to that red. All right, so I'm doing the flowers red. I'm doing the pine cones and the scrolls in gold gilding. Oh, and the feathers. All right, so, and I thought about doing the feathers in that pearlescent white, but I just thought that that would just make things too bright. I like that this is just very, very subtle. So let's add some more of our copper to this. Okay. If you get a little bit over onto parts that aren't that color, I wouldn't worry too much about it. There's so much going on. I mean, if you do it blatantly so, you might want to just kind of wipe it off or rebase coat. And if you're doing that with the gilding wax, you might want to be more careful or have your rubbing alcohol handy, because that that would be a little bit more of a thing to get rid of, okay? So I'm going to get some of the gilding wax on this poinsettia, and we're going to save some of this for Instagram. We're going to do an Instagram live after. Because the Instagram, okay, does not play well with the Switcher Studio way of broadcasting, or going live, I should say. I'm also doing the centers of the poinsettia in gold. All right, so now that we have the base of the copper down, let's do a little bit, just the tiniest dab, okay, the littlest, tiniest dab of the red, because a little bit of that red's going to go a long way. And let's see what that looks like. Maybe just a dab more. And just mixing it right on the spot here. And that looks pretty red. And maybe a little bit more. There we go. There we go. I like that. Okay. So now we can go over the copper, and any part that we miss, it's okay, because the copper is you know, essentially it's there, right? We have our berries and our berries and our rose. Don't you love my little palette? Just a scrap piece of wood, you know. And then the poinsettia. So there. So now we have, you know, you can tell it's more of a red. The copper just wasn't standing out enough. And then we're going to do, that's actually it for our water base. You know, we'd finish up all the reds, okay? The berries, the flowers, and then we can put the metallics away. You should wait for that to dry well, but, you know, I'm not a patient person, so we're moving on. And I have a little stick here. And I have a little bit of this cactus chameleon wax. Now look at it. It's this mousy, sort of lemony, limey color. However, when you rub this on a dark color, magic happens. And this becomes green. And the more you put on, the more you rub it on and kind of buff it in, the more bold it becomes. But it'll only really do this over a dark color, like the black, right? I really need to do my nails because they're getting too long for this. Okay, we have a hint of a leaf back here. But what's really neat is that where the cactus is, all right, this will take on different strengths of color depending on how much light is on it. the time of day kind of a thing, the angle that you're looking at it. It's the coolest thing. It has the really neat metallic characteristics to it, but it's just fun and funky. You can also use it to like add a shine to a similar color. So if I was using like a green, like palmetto, or if I was using, what is that down there? That is, all right, holly leaves down here, okay. We do have to add a little bit more. What do I do with my little palette? Hey Deb, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little project. And it's not like in your face Christmas, which is kind of cool. And wait till you see what we do with the rest of this. If you weren't here for the other parts of this, for the IOD Live or anything, you're going to love what happens. All right, we have a little more holly leaf down here. All right, so I'm going to try not to get any on the glass because I already cleaned that. All right, and then our gold. Again, another oil-based wax. So let's take the other side of this. And that's a lot. We use so little at a time. This little can goes forever. All right, so we can come down our scrolling here. And just taking the finger, again, like how we did the rest, just right over the top. You can use, if you want to save your fingers, you can use a Q-tip or a stiff brush and just roll it, you know, just kind of cross brush it over the top. But I don't know, I just use my fingers all the time. Where are you watching from, Deb? What are you up to? Gracie, are you creating any more? Everyone loved what you made for your sister. The one lady wanted it. That's the best compliment right there. I did use the iron. We used the iron and then the green spray, and then it sat here overnight. So not actually more than overnight, like a little more than a day. And so it had plenty of time for the reaction and, you know, to dry well. And it has 2 coats of gator hide, so it's well sealed. All right, so now my gilding all has the gold on it. All right, and now let's continue. We're going to do the pine cone, the pine needles. And I'm only choosing these colors because gold seemed more like the brown, right? And the aqua, obviously, for the peacock feathers. So here's where I'm kind of wondering. I think I'm leaving this trim alone. This was from trimmings 1 or 2. I can't remember what we decided this was. But it does have like little berries on the ends. I don't know if maybe I go ahead and I do that in the green, in the cactus. But we would have to do all those little dots with a little brush. Oh, and the center of the poinsettia gets gold. All right, so that's super easy. So I chose like the gold because it seemed like the brown of my metallics. The red is my mix, right? But you want to do your water base first. If you can, let it dry. If you have to seal it, and then put on your gilding wax. And that's it. That's super easy. I did clean the top of this window. If anyone has not seen this before, I just want to go over like what I do to clean the glass. So no matter if you're painting windows at home or you're painting a picture frame, you don't have to take, well, the picture frame's easy enough to take the glass out. Or a mirror, right? Or if it's too hard to take it apart, some of those antique ones, you don't want, I don't even want to know what's behind it sometimes. So you can do this. You just paint like you're painting, you know, try not to make too much of a mess. It's just making this part worse, but you can score at your edge and scrape it back. Well, here's the interesting thing. So when I started this project, it was kind of a, you know me, I have too much going on at any given time. So I didn't think it out. I should have trimmed the other side a little bit tighter to the grids, because on this side, when I trim this really nice, I see the putty in white on the back side. So I have a dilemma. Do I just leave it and leave that little thin band of white haphazardly around it? Or do I go ahead and just scrape it and re-stamp the back side of the window? I guess the other option would be to paint a fine line right on the glass, and I'm not a fan of that. We'll see. I haven't decided, but yeah, there's this little fine band from the putty on the other side of the glass. And it's pretty tight. When I did look at it when I was on the other side, getting it ready for our live, and I stamped it, right? But I didn't spend enough time thinking about that should have been trimmed a little bit tighter. Because I don't, this just isn't right. What if, that paint, with time, if I try to paint like a thin border right on the glass, just to cover it, because, it would be the easiest solution, then what if over time that starts to lift or peel, right? So I think I'm just going to have to re-stamp the other side. But, we're going to have to be careful with the whole process. We're going to set, when I flip this over, I'm going to have it cushioned so we don't damage any of the molds. Give it a nice cushion wherever it touches the surface that I'm, on this table. But, that's what happens with me. I get in the moment and I do. And especially since these were packed away for so long, these windows, I had two kind of ready to go, and then life happened and I never got back to them. So I ended up putting them back in storage and recently pulled them back out. We did the one, it sold in like 20 minutes because you guys are awesome. And now I had this one. This was going to be the nautical window, but it's no longer a nautical window, right? So let me just, I'm sorry for this noise. Turn the volume down for a hot second. It's not too bad, but if it bothers you. Sister Mary was here and loved the IOD. She went back and broke, oh no! Oh, dear Lord, Gracie. There must be a Murphy's Law in there somewhere, Gracie. All right, so now we got that vacuumed, and there's really no other way of getting that clean up shy of turning it upside down and really tapping at it. And then I take a little bit of rubbing alcohol and we clean that up. If there's anything, you know, like drips on the window, you can just scrape the whole pane, okay? Wherever you have, a lot of times, you know, I did get like a strip of gator hide coming across. So I just scrape it with my single edge blade. You want to be very careful with that. You want to make sure the kids aren't running around with that loose. And let's see. This rubbing alcohol will do a good job of getting any other of the, just, you know, what's left of the paint that was on there, that residue off, fingerprints, you know, no finger oils, okay? It's going to get rid of all that. And remember, that stamping is on the other side. If I tried to clean, even with water, that will just wipe off. This is glass. Stamping is not meant to be, you know, it's not meant to be on glass. Although, you know, I'm wondering if that new version of the decoupage medium, you know, they have Mod Podge, but then I've been seeing, I don't, has anyone tried the new one that's been advertising everywhere? It's Magic Podge. I mean, if their videos are legit, then it seems pretty remarkable. It doesn't, like, you can't see it when it dries on glass. It doesn't rub off. It doesn't clean off. So I'm wondering if that would work on something like this. It'll be almost like pouring resin on the glass pane. You could seal it, I guess, by putting resin on. I'm not sure. I think the resin would probably just kind of make this like a green mush. I think. I'm not positive. But that's what I'm thinking. All right, and now that would be ready for me to decorate. And I don't know what I did with my little project for this. So this is getting this door. And our friend Diane at Two Girls Treasure is doing a really cool version of the door. She's trying, see, here's the dilemma. Like, I was thinking about hinges, but see how thin this door is? She found it was a problem. She could get a hinge, a tiny screw through this part, but the door part was too thin. Like, she just cut the whole door out and heated up the resin and put a little tiny screw with a tiny little, you know, like jewelry box hinge, little toy hinge. After she heated the resin, she could screw into it, you know, and I think she did a little tiny drill, I'm not sure. And then, but the problem was this door. The door is very, 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 very thin. So that's how I ended up coming to just having this be open. Now, Ellen J. Goods, Lynn Brundage, she took the whole door off and again put a couple little holes, maybe 3 sets, one here, one there, one here, one there, one here, one there, and she used some sort of a twine or like a really like a dense little rope, not even a rope, what's the word I'm looking for, not yarn, you know, cording maybe, you know, something, it was substantial enough to hold it, but, you know, not overpowering. So this will get, you know, glued once I paint this, and I'm going to make a little door, like a little path to the door. All right, so, and then we got windows. I don't know what I did with my window frames. You know, I have everything handy here, but when I'm trying to find it, like this door, you have no idea what I was doing to try and find this door before the video. I don't know where the frames are now. So we got to paint this, but I didn't bring my paints along. And you know what? Because of this slick side, I think I'm going to hit this with slick sticks. So let's just do that. And we're going to do these butterflies. I'm going to do it with Slick Stick as well. And then what happens is I'm going to have to heat these up, and we're going to tape the wings upward. And they're going to go, we're going to have transfers coming down from the top. We're going to add more transfers for where the windows are going. We can actually do this one, right? If I can find what I did with the darn things. Let me see. Let me see. What did I do with my windows? If you were my windows, where would you go? I'm thinking they have to be on my little table across the way here. Hold on. They have to be here somehow. Or not. Okay. Not sure where the windows went. And they're probably right in front of my face, like the door was right there. It was right there. Oh, I know. I just had a moment of clarity. It doesn't happen often. Yes. Okay. So, I only had one window made. We gotta make the other one with our resin. I had it in the transfer, so I wouldn't lose it. All right. So these are going to be the windows. We don't need to prop these or do anything else but paint them. And I'm thinking, you guys, what do you think? Like, I think copper would look really cool with the patina because it would go with like the rust color here and the greens. I'm thinking copper windows. Right? I think that would look really cool. But just because I should probably kind of measure where this window is going to go. Just as a rough idea, because we want it to kind of go in line with our other window. We want to make sure they're kind of in the same spot. And when you're up close on a project, it doesn't always bode well, you know, like sometimes just stuff gets in the way, right? So you know what I'm going to do is, regardless, I'm going to trim a little bit of the inside of this off. Let's see, my scissors are down on the floor. We're going to trim just a little bit off. And you never know, those tiny little parts, I'm going to keep them with the transfer because you never know when you make a oops moment with the top of a leaf and you have those, okay, to fix it if it bothers you. Especially if it's a small project and it's like, oh, that leaf isn't finished. But on a big project like this, you wouldn't even notice it. All right, so this transfer will go down. And for our live, this is where I went with my project for the door. So we're stuck with that. These don't have to be in line with the door. They can be up a little bit more. And even though it's not my best ruler, we can use it. So it's about 2 1/4. That should be about even. 3 inches, and about 3 1/4 inches. But that's okay. So 3 and 3 1/4. 3 1/4, 2 3/8, 2 3/8. All right, so that's where that's gonna go. I gotta do that again. I want to make sure that that was even with the window. 2 3/8. Okay. And 3. Wow, that was pretty good. 2 3/8. Wow. I couldn't have tried to do that better if I tried. All right. So let's just go ahead and put that there. I try not to get fingerprints all over this glass that I just cleaned. Uh-oh. All right. Our transfer tool, of course, is not there, but I always have transfer tools handy. Now, if you're new to Iron Orchid Designs and these transfers are new to you, this tool comes with all of them. I've been using this one. Okay, you get a tool with every transfer, and I suggest you keep multiples handy. So this is my example of what you do with transfers. They love glass. If I had just set that down and tried to lift it up, somewhere it's going to stick. There's no such thing as trial and error with transfers on glass. They love it. So if you're wondering if you need to seal your surface, because that's kind of an ongoing question in transfer world, that is my example of why you do seal. Whenever in question, unless you have working order that you know that the transfers will apply well. I'm sure given enough rubbing, okay, you can get the transfers down on anything, even like our chalk paint, because it does cure after time. But that matte finish, you're going to work harder. Where this, it's super easy. You do an initial rub, as you can see I'm doing, and you try to get a bubble right there. See, we get a little air bubble, and then that does all the work for you. Sometimes you can't get the air bubble, so you do a little, as long as you're not moving anything, you can do this little lift, and where it doesn't adhere down, you just rub it, put it back down and rub it. All right, make sure everything's down. It looks like I don't have anything left on my backing, and notice that the grids are on the backing. That's just for you, for your own measurements and all that. And then you want to burnish it down. Now, since this is glass, you don't need to seal this, and if you try to put like a top coat on there, it's just going to make it a blurry mess. So I suggest you don't try. I think I have a garbage right there. And unless you want to put like a resin over it. See, I know some people have done that. Or maybe that new Mod Podge product, whatever it's called, Magic Podge, would work. You know, like, it could work. So I had it so these fairies were kind of looking at each other in the windows. So let's do like an initial removal of our paper. Okay. So if we put this down, and again, kind of being mindful of our 3 inches, our 2 3/8. Okay. Being mindful of that, let's slip, oh, I got something on the glass here. Try to lift this up carefully so we can set this down. All right, come down a little bit more. Now she doesn't go all the way out to the edges. I think that that's okay. You could choose a bigger one, or if you can find a smaller frame. This is just the solution I came up with. You know, you do what makes you happy. See, and how these colors are all just, it's all coming together really nice with these colors. Yes, these are, they're not just picture frames, they're the molds. All right, they're, so Deb is asking, are they just picture frames? But they're the molds that we sell with Iron Orchid Designs, and I poured the quick set resin. I did it in the live. You can scroll back and watch the live I did with Iron Orchid Designs last Wednesday. And then I pop it out, and we have this beautiful frame. There's this one, and then there's this one, okay? This is frames 2, and the other one was frames 1, and what's nice is it gives you measurements. You get liquid measurements and weight measurements, so you know how much clay to pull out or how much resin to have handy. So, yeah, the copper would be nice, right? And then I think after it's sealed, we could glaze it and kind of bring the opposite of what's happening here. See, like I don't even need to, just that initial rub is enough. These things are dangerous with glass. So if you wanted to seal your project with gloss, it would go on probably just as easy. Now I have used it with silk and it's been fine. It didn't go on as easy, but it came off really well. All right. There. And then we'll paint this. We'll do the copper patina. Maybe we can do that for tomorrow. Well, no, because I have to get the slick stick. We could do it. We could do it. I could do the slick stick. I got to do my 2 coats now. So 1 coat now and then another hour. It should be 2 hours. We'll see. Put the 2nd coat of slick stick on. And then I got to let it dry overnight. And then tomorrow night we can, I'll be able to paint it in the afternoon, hopefully. Kind of rushing it, but give it a base coat, maybe like a terracotta base, and then 1 coat of our copper patina, and then I can go live, hopefully, we'll see, with the 2nd coat of patina, and then we can spray it, right? Oh, that's going to be really pretty. Then I was thinking about adding like half a Christmas tree mold, right, from Oh Christmas Tree. We're going to add a path here. We have the stamps from behind, you notice that? So that's giving it another dimension and added color and interest. It's covered a lot here, but at least it's all going to be consistent in here, the stamps. And then we got to figure out what we're doing to the top for transfers. Let's see. I think that's going to be super pretty. So, I think that's good. For the top, I do have some, don't hate the messenger. Don't hate me for this. This is a little bit of Woodland Christmas. I mean, I don't get to do a lot here. We don't sell a lot this time of year. So, you know, it's a thing. So we have that. We have these sprigs. We have, oh, we got to, yeah, maybe more of these. And then this can kind of go maybe more to the center. We'll see. Right? Now try not to use all of this because, you know, whenever these all come out, they're always limited editions. So there are no more woodland Christmases. There's just, I don't know of any stockist that would have any of these left over. So that is probably enough there. But we can fill in with other greens, right? Floral Anthology has some beautiful greens in it. Milo's Pages, right, has some beautiful greens in it. Let's see, is this one I already opened or is this one I've had? I know I pulled one aside not knowing if I had any open. No, this is the one. This is Franz Botanical. We could probably do some of this behind some of our evergreens, right? But then to tie in the roses, okay, I want to tie in the roses. We have Redoute. Maybe just like 3 or 4, right? 1, maybe 2, and then another 1 with the swags of greenery. I think that would look really neat. The oval would look good for a window too. It would look good. It would. I thought about that for the opening, and then I thought it was just too ornate because there's so much going on with this that I thought, as much as I love that one frame with that oval center and then ornate, I got to hold myself back sometimes. You know, it's a thing. It's a process for me. I have to hold back. But that's going to be super cute. And then I also have, I think some lavender left of Painterly roses. We have these softer roses, but I don't know if I have any left. You know, but those are more of a softy pink. And I don't know if I'm feeling that. I didn't get any of the transfers this year for myself, other than Fairy Mary. So what I really loved about was it Candy Cane Cottage, is it had the beautiful rose Christmas tree. I might have to try and replicate that, even though, I mean, no one's buying this stuff in my shop this time of year. They just don't come in this time of year. The locals just don't come down here. And Joe says, I can't do any more Christmas plaques because they just get open the next year. So I might have to repurpose one. That way I'm not making a new one. But I want to make a rose Christmas tree. So I think I might save these for that. But there's also roses in Floral Parisiensis. See, there's some lavender, but it's the wreath version. We have little sprigs here, but I might save that for its own project. We have a bud. We'll see. I think I'm going to save that. We're going to save that. If I need sprigs, I have some lavender sprigs, but I think we can get by without using that. I also thought that some of the greens in this could be pretty as a little additive of color. Where does this open? Right here. This is Whispering Willow. So if you're new to transfers, you don't have to use them like if you have one that's like a certain design. You can cut them and make them however you want them to go. So that's not going to work for me. The mushroom I'm not doing. This greenery, maybe. I'm kind of digging this, and it's not a bad color with the woodland Christmas. So we're going to pull that out. See how this is going to happen? These are pretty, but I'm not going to do them. I'm going to use the red roses. Okay, We have that if we need it. We have ivy if we need it. And we have more of these if we need it. Okay. Let's put this one away. All right. All right, right here. This is what happens to me. And then I spent probably almost an hour because I had another idea in my head. I had cardboard that, you know, is cutting up and part of it got exposed. And I was like, oh, I've always been wanting to play with the idea that Royce, I don't know who came up with it first, Royce or Carmen. I think Carmen might have. Do something with a decoupage. In the corrugated part, you expose the ribs. And maybe not in all the spots. But then I thought we could do something with that in the ginger spice, the gingerbread family, right? The gingerbread man, the gingerbread lady, the mom, the dad, the kids. We could do one, like on the mold, over that. But then I started thinking, oh, Christmas tree would be really cool too with that. So, you know, the ideas aren't the problem here. It's controlling the ideas is the problem. It's like, oh, a squirrel. It's, okay, so we're narrowing down. Let's see if any of these fit. Yeah, some of these will look nice. Not that one. Maybe not so much, not with what I have left anyways. But I have some fern if I need it. But these colors just aren't, the fern isn't too bad if I need the fern, okay. That to me is not going with these greens, so that I'm not going to use. We could use some of this stuff though on some sprigs, okay. So let's see what happens. Let's start at the top. Joe came in for me on Saturday and was like, "You have stuff all over the floor." And I was like, "I know, but I still didn't even get the Christmas stuff done yet. And the garland is still in the back. And do I put the tree up now? I don't know. Do I put the tree up now, ladies? What do you think?" I mean, the ornaments stay out year round, so they're on a little, like an ornament stand. But I could put the tree out, I guess. If nothing else, it could drag it. It could gather attention, you know. The door is open. Do we have one person came in today, I think. Yeah. Let's see. So see, I saved the scraps. Don't get rid of the scraps. You never know when you're going to need this. Okay? So that's a big investment in this piece. So I don't think we're going to do that one. But these are a possibility for the center maybe. Okay. And let's see. Aha! There we go. There we go. This is Redoute. What is it? What number is this? 2. But I think there was a Redoute 4 at one point. I don't understand. There's been a few versions of Redoute. Um, what are we feeling? Ooh. But these are on nice big stems, so I'm going to hold off on those. I'm going to hold off on maybe I don't do these in the center. Maybe I do some of that. But then there's not one of equal size for the other side. These are bigger. I guess that won't matter. What do we think? And if we use those kind of sticks coming down, right, in their swag sticks, the stems with the buds, right, we can pick a different scenario for the center, because I think it'd just be too much roses if we have those coming down and then the two ginormous ones. So maybe something like this in the center, the single one in the center. That could work. That could certainly work. So would that look right there? And then, yeah, I think I'm doing it. All right, so let's just tear that page out. And we'll cut half of this page. I'm not going to use any of these typographies with this, because this isn't like a summertime piece where it's about the roses. It's a holiday piece. I guess if you wanted, you could do, if you had other transfers that had more of holiday font, you could do that. Or get your Cricut or your, whatever you have for a vinyl cutter, if you have that, or a friend have one made for you. Okay, all right, down here. So we got everything, we're kind of making the plan now. We got everything jiving. And what I like about this project is it's certainly holiday, but once all the holiday stuff is out from the rest of your house, I think you could keep this window out and it doesn't scream holiday. Like if you just love fairies, you know, like you could just leave the window out. It's not going to scream holiday. It's, yes, it's got some holly leaves and little poinsettias, but you know, it's not like in your face. And it's not like super bright reds and greens that screams holiday, right? All right, so this we'll probably put here. Kind of da-da-da-dum. I'm going to put that there. Still got to figure out the center rose. I didn't cut that one out, did I? We're going to do maybe that in that corner. We got to figure out how we're layering them too. See, that's the thing too. Is you gotta think. As much as I like to just do it, this part you got to think out how you're layering it. So we're gonna put that. We're gonna put the roses under that, and the same here. Okay. And then we'll have, because I am kind of feeling the holly as kind of like a front thing, right? And see how I'm like, we're gonna make this fit in there. And it's okay that we're cutting that off. Okay. Because then, actually you're not gonna notice with everything else we got going on here. Maybe like that. Maybe like that. So it's kind of swaggy. Ooh, swaggy. And then we'll make this a little bit uneven here. Okay, we can have, since these have the bigger roses, I mean, that has the bigger roses, we'll make this more about that coming down. And then this coming down from there. Okay. And then oh, I had a scrap taped to that. We'll put the scrap aside, maybe over here because I'm not using that. That'll go behind all of it. So that's my first one. And then you know what? This won't match, but that's okay. This is going to be the underneath on the other side. Okay, so this is going to go under here somehow. Okay, so that's going first. And then, yes, 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 yes. We're going to have this kind of stream down. Well, and for these parts that I don't know what transfer they came from afterwards, like I might not take the time to figure out that this was from Whispering Willow and this was from Franz Botanical, I have like a scrap pile. It just goes in there. It's like here. Here's extra stuffs. Okay, but that went with this. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Get this out of the way. Right? Yeah. And this out of the way, I think. Oh, we have, oh, that was going here. And then we have some of these. Okay. What are, I don't even know what these are. I'm not embarrassed to say it. So this is gonna go under everything as well. And it's okay that it goes into another pane. We can just carry it over. We can cut it, except we're not gonna cut that. We're gonna leave the stem alone. But like this little leaf, we could have it come over into that other pane. We'll just cut along the line, but it might just fit, you guys. Okay. Maybe there. All right. We'll put these there with some extra trailing ones. Okay. This will be underneath as well, but over the rows, I think. Okay, we'll just do that. And then these can kind of go with that. All right. Oh. Woodland. There was some pine branches that we could use. Where were those? Here. We'll use these up. At least one. Let's just use the one. Because we want to make this sucker last. I'm going to be sad when I use up the last piece. I didn't get any of the transfers of the year after that. I don't think, or I think I had, I don't know, I had one of them, but let's see. We'll fit those in wherever we need to. All right, and a rose. We need a rose. Again, we need the rose in the center, right here. And I still have sound. Who knew? Okay, so. All right. So too big. Where was that one I liked for the center? Oh, that one's not bad. That one I kind of like. For the center one. Oh, this one's kind of pretty. Let me stick with my, I can always add a bud if I need to extend it. And then we got to add a branch, a stem, a branch. Yeah. We're going to put a branch on that sucker. Okay. That. Oh, what's the matter? Who is whining over there? I know. You poor baby. Stuck at the store. And there's that branch, that stem. Let's stick with this stem. Where did it go? This one. All our parts, right? Okay, there's our stem. There's something sticking here. Why doesn't that want to lay down? I'm sure I'm bending something. All right. That's it, you guys. So there's our game plan. Joe better not walk in right now. You say, wait, I thought it was bad on the weekend. What did you do? What did you do, Linda? Okay. So, yeah. So it's already been an hour, so we're not going to get to this. I'm going to go on Instagram and see how far we get on Instagram. But I don't typically spend as much time on Instagram. But I need to go to the corner store and get a soda because the water's just not cutting it anymore. And I got no power in the back, so I can't have creamer, so I can't have coffee. Even though I can make coffee, I can't. It's not. I don't drink it without a flavored creamer. So I'm going to get a soda for my caffeine. You'll catch the rest later. I'm done anyways, girl. I'm done. I'm going on Instagram. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys, if you're interested, go to Seaporium.com /collections. The link is in the description, and that will bring you to, if you put /collections, it'll bring you right to our store. If you're on or near Cape Cod, please stop in. And that's it. That's it for now. And hopefully I'm jumping on tomorrow. Until I see you again, stay sassy.